All right, we are here. I'm going into my Ventura County Sheriff's Office, about to pick up my CCW. From start to finish, we are here, and it ends. It actually begins. 2-year standard. If you know judicial, you know what I'm talking about there. Got my paperwork, got everything I need. Let's get into the process. Now there we go. That starts the premise on how I got my CCW 2025. Let's go. Now, first off, I do got to say thank you all for watching, being here with me in this, and welcome back to the channel, because it's been a while since I posted, because I do like to post these landmark titles of where I am and what am I doing. Kind of, I don't post daily. I don't post a lot of, I post a lot of shorts, but not a lot of these long form videos. In this case, I love information. I love when things change. In this case, my 2025 CCW is in hand. In pocket, if you don't understand what I'm talking about. And I'm going to go over my process, because mine was a renewal. Now, this is not a full-on CCW, you know, just getting it, but I will go over some steps, and including that, a lot of the updated items that you're going to need to know on getting your CCW. So before we get into it, make sure to like the video, comment down below, and also just subscribe to the channel if you want to see this thing keep growing, because I am here for most of the time. Again, like I said, if it changes, if things change with YouTube, I will be posting daily, but if not, this is how it is. Now, first off, definitely you're going to want to submit that application, and that's going to be everything here. If you're renewing, if you're doing it for the first time, get that application done. And in this case, I will go over to the screen here. If you're renewing, on the CCW Permitium.com CCW start menu here, it's going to be new or renew. And I did want to go over some things, because if you are starting your process, you're going to be paying a $220 submission fee or permit application fee, which in my case, because it's a renewal fee, it was $152. That is a $100 share fee, as well as the $52 application fee. Into that, also a $10 modification and duplication fee, which is paid right when you submit. So all in all, I'm $162 and I believe 48 cents in the hole right here. This was April the 18th. This started the actual process here, and this is what I keep saying, is a lot of people are fearful of that first step. This is what I say about anybody who's actually not just renewing, but starting. The fact is, you gotta walk, you know, you gotta move forward to get to a place that you want to be, and all in all, it's going to be worth it in the end. In this case here, I waited all the way from the 18th to the 27th, and the CCW annex called me. And it's funny, because when I got that phone call from the investigator, what they kind of, you know, laid out was this whole inquiry that somebody did, in fact, ask about our information. So any CCW holder in California, they ask about their information, about their name, where they work, address, a lot of information that for some people was the most frightening thing. And when I heard about it, I was kind of going, huh, what's the situation here? They kind of said that they decided not to, you know, adhere to that person's request about getting all the information. And I was surprised that they said that. I thought they'd be quiet about this. I actually got an email before, and I posted up on a Reddit post. If you follow California Guns on Reddit, then you might have seen my post up there, because that one was a big one. Everyone had, you know, really wide-eyed about this information. So in this case, they told me that they did not give the information out, but the investigator did tell me straight off is that you need to get that training done. It was coming down to the line here. And what I mean by that is, when you do these applications, especially with the renewal, you want to give yourself 90 to 120 days for them to review and everything, so it doesn't expire. Because if it expires, if your CCW permit expires, you're going to have to do the entire process as if you never renewed, meaning you got to go from the beginning. And this goes into May 30th. This is when I got the actual email that says, additional training required. It says from that point, you have 90 days, a mandated time to complete your CCW training. When you get to this point, no matter what you're doing, renewing or you're doing it for the first time, you're going to want to find a VCSO approved instructor. Now, these instructor, it's crazy, because since the lists I was originally used to being, you know, I'm this far in, is that the list has shrunk. It was a huge list before, a lot of pages. And in this case, it's shortened up. And so that brings me on to scheduling. So I scheduled with my instructor, my original instructor from the beginning here. I was happy to get a spot, because at the time, a bunch of people were doing it. So the class was pretty much booked up. I just had to go for it. And on May 5th, I did schedule training for the 13th. And what was crazy about this, out of anything, was it was Friday the 13th. And that already For some reason, it didn't click in my head until the day of, and I'm sitting outside, right in the morning, about to do this, and I'm going, Friday the 13th, huh? What could go wrong?
What could go wrong?
Now, what I'm gonna tell you right now, nothing went wrong, okay? It was just superstition, that feeling that something was gonna go crazy because a few things were a little suspicious at the time, and I felt like, uh-oh, what's gonna happen? And nothing actually happened. So I'm happy to say I'm okay. Everyone was okay. The class went smoothly. Now, we did go over something that we didn't go over initially to any of the classes I've taken for CCW, for a lot of firearms training, was mental health. And at first, I thought they were going over mental health because of us, about us owning guns, and that's the fact that it could be, a trigger pull to heaven, or that's a way out. But it wasn't. It was actually mental health in the form of being able to recognize when somebody that you encounter on the street might have mental health issues. And in this case, it was crazy because this was the first time I've ever experienced this. A lot of people were even asking in the class, what is this we're watching here? And these were approved by the Ventura County Sheriff to actually be shown. And this was an hour process within the first part of training. And, it went smoothly, but a lot of the information was it was mostly something that a sheriff or a police officer would really need to know in the field when you come across somebody. But in this case, because we are CCW holders, because we are going to be carrying concealed, that there's a chance we might have to do something in the field. You never know. And this is your choice again. Whenever something pops off, it's your choice to have to do something about it, or you stay back, because we are not obligated to step in. Now, that class alone was $250, which was a different renewal fee that I even had from before. So things are getting more expensive. So that's $162.48 for the permit, and then on top of that, now $250 for the training. Now, on top of that, we actually went over new laws that are going to be implemented about where you can carry now. And this is something I'm going to have to go over in another video, because it spanned a lot, but I will talk about something that's straight off, and something that a lot of people are kind of going, was before, when you went to a restaurant to go eat, you are not allowed to touch alcohol. I have no idea the thought process completely on that, but it makes sense, right? Don't touch alcohol when you're carrying. In this case now, it is do not carry if you're going any place that can sell alcohol. And you kind of go, why? What's this situation here? Because if I'm not touching alcohol, what's the problem? And this is where it kind of becomes something like, what does that mean? Kind of going, well, somebody belligerent might be there, and you might have to do something about it, and we don't want you shooting anybody. So in that case, it's kind of a hard situation here about don't go to any place which sells alcohol, and don't carry. And it's kind of going, and there's a lot of rules and a lot of laws now that have changed in these sensitive areas. And sensitive areas are going to be a big one in any information you're going to read. So I really got to make another video about this, so stay tuned for that, because it's going to be kind of crazy. Right? There's a lot of things, there are loopholes and everything that go along with it. Now, from the Friday the 13th on the 18th, I got an approval call, because my firearm qualification, my test scores, so there's a physical test and a physical shooting test. So there is a qualification on your accuracy and a qualification on your testing score, the stuff that we go over on the class. It's almost like a lab and a test. That stuff was turned in immediately. This is why I love my instructor. Again, he turned it in immediately. So look at how quick that was. Now, I got an email as well as an order number, and that order number is to sign in with your name and your email that is associated with your account through the Ventura County Sheriff's Office, and that'll take you to a pick an appointment level area. Now, the appointment level area will give you two options here. Okay, I'm reading a little bit right here on the side, but it's Tuesday, Thursday, 8 to 11 a.m., and then that jumps 12:30 to 3:30 p.m. Now, from there, I set my appointment for June 24th at 9:30 a.m. I didn't really go that late, and I didn't go that early. And the fact of the matter is this: I have this short little clip here, and that was insane, is that there was no parking. There was literally almost no parking close to the actual entrance to the CCW annex there. So I had to park across the way at another building, which was okay, and I just had to walk my way forward. When I got there, the door was locked because on this side they're doing construction. So I had to walk all the way around. And me telling you, I get it. you know, I have to walk. This is what I'm complaining about. But if you see if you see on the map of where I had to go and everything, it just was crazy because I'm trying to make that 9:30 appointment. And you know, I want to be punctual, I want to be on time. I want to be 9:30 sharp just in case, you know. And I had to bring my CCW paper, which has the thumbprint on it. And a lot of people don't understand this, that your CCW card itself, the hard card itself, is not your CCW. Your CCW is the paper with the thumbprint on it. You know, a lot of people who are renewing, a lot of people who do the CCWs, they understand this, they know this. But somebody doing it for the first time don't know is that paper was super important, and if you lose it, you got to go through this whole process. But in this case, the CCW now has updated, and now the hard card itself will be your CCW. And this is what I want to show on the back. I'm not going to show too much, but you see it has my thumbprint on the back here. And this is something that is way new. A lot of things have changed with the card. A lot of font differences. They're smaller. So that's pretty much it. When I got in there, I got into the appointment, no problems. Went to the front, got the help I needed, turned in my CCW sheet itself, including my CCW hard card, made sure that all went in. I actually took my photo from their webcam, and then went to go sit down, and within 5 minutes it was ready to go, and I grabbed it and walked right out the door. And this is a amazing streamlined process for the renewing, and it's been better. But as you know, as CCWs have becoming more and more prevalent, meaning more and more people are getting them, different counties are having issues with certain things, even time issues. So hopefully that speeds up, but in this case, it's something that everybody should know what to expect when you are getting your CCW or actually renewing. Because when a person is getting their CCW from the first time, there's a lot more work that's going to be put involved there. It's got a lot of background checks, a lot of questioning, a lot of them asking about your past. And like I said, I've said it before in the past videos, is if you have something to hide, I would not do this. If you have something you are very embarrassed about and you don't want to talk about it, I would not do this. But in this case, when you don't have that much of a paper trail, or you are ready to go and you don't care because you are set with this goal of being able to protect you, your family members, everything that goes along with it, then go for it. Nowadays, it is insanity what is going on out in the streets. It's not the worst, fine, okay? It's not the worst. But remember, when minutes are on the line and you are your first responder for everything, remember that. You know, help is 20 minutes away, but the threat is seconds in front of you. This is where it's going to all come down to, and it's going to be worth it in the end. I will say this to the heavens, okay? To anybody out there, is do everything you can to protect yourself. Always be on the law side. You can never get too much law. You can never get too much corrective justice. Remember this. I'm going to say it straight away. You want them on your side. When it comes down to it, when an assailant does anything, when someone does something to you, please be on the right side of the law. Do not use full emotions. Emotions will get you in trouble. Breathe. Calm down. Focus. With that, I'm just going to say thank you all for watching. I'm hoping you out there, if you're in the process of getting your CCW from any other county, not just Ventura County, that you watch this video and understand that it's a process here. No matter how you look at it, no matter what it is, it doesn't have to be about the CCW. It could be anything in the United States. It's a process. It's paperwork. It's putting time, effort, money. I will say it now to forever. Get that paperwork in. And with that, I'm going to say thank you all for watching. This is Mick.